Hey guys, what are we cooking today? Only the best filet mignon you've ever seen, but in a way you've never seen it. Hey guys, and thanks for checking in with us for another episode of Quein with Uncle Woo. Today, it's filet mignon. Well, kind of filet mignon. My version of filet mignon. Today, we took a beef tenderloin, trimmed it down to the center section, wrapped that center section with bacon. We're going to put it on the smoker, smoke it up, then sear it off. It's going to be the greatest filet mignon you've ever seen. So, let's get started. We're going to back up and show you how we took this tenderloin, trimmed it out, cut it down, wrapped it in bacon, and got it all seasoned up. Check that out, and when you're done, we'll be ready to get on the cooker. So, we're back in the kitchen on our cutting board. Let's get this beef tenderloin turned over and start pulling off all the excess loose fat. We're going to work our way down to the side where the chain muscle's attached. We're going to separate that. You may have seen us do our first beef tenderloin video, and if so, the process to this point is going to be exactly the same. We're going to cut this chain loose, save it to be used later on in our grind. The good thing about the chain muscle is even though it contains a lot of extraneous fat, in the middle it's all meat, as you can see. So we'll save that for later, grind it up, make some delicious hamburgers or ground meat to be used in another dish. After that, we'll get back to the tenderloin and just start removing the fat and then eventually going after the silver skin on the top of this tenderloin. Since we're only using basically the center cut section out of this tenderloin, we're going to trim down the roast pieces that ride along the side and give ourselves one long, smooth section to trim. As we continue trimming off the fat from the top side, we want to remember that we're only going to really want to use just the main center section on this tenderloin. So we want to try to concentrate on this area in the middle to get really 5, 6, maybe 7, depending on how long it is, steaks that are all basically the same size. So we're going to trim off the tail as it starts to taper down, and we're going to come back to the back side and trim off the tenderloin as it starts to enlarge into those rear muscles. That's going to leave us with what we refer to as a center cut tenderloin. Now, both of these two pieces are still going to be great pieces of meat. We're going to save them to be used later in a different piece. Now that we have our center cut on the board, we're going to work on removing the silver skin from across the top and basically just cleaning up this piece of meat to get it absolutely perfect before we start applying our seasonings. Now, that's just about got it. We'll pick off the last few little pieces of fat that we see, and at that point, we're about ready to season. Now, as you'll notice, we didn't work a lot on the backside because that's going to, number one, sit on the bottom of the roast, but also it's going to be wrapped in bacon, and as we know, fat is flavor, so we're not trying to remove absolutely every piece of fat. we just want to basically clean off the silver skin that's going to keep us from getting a good bite. So let's get started with seasonings. We're going to come in on our base layer with some of our Uncle Wu's Memphis Magic. That's our salt, pepper, garlic mix. And we're going to put a liberal layer all across the top. And then we're going to roll a quarter turn. Do that side. And continue on around until we have a good base layer all across the entire piece. And with that, we've got just about all of our base layer on that we want. We'll drag through the rest of that salt, pepper, garlic, just so we don't accidentally leave any on the board. Want to make sure that that all gets on the meat. Oh yeah, don't forget to get those ends. Every piece of this needs to be seasoned. So that's got us. We'll pat that in a bit, and at that point, we're going to allow that salt, pepper, garlic to sit on the meat for a few minutes, and then we'll come back with our next layer of rub. Now that we have allowed that base layer to sweat in, we're going to come back behind it with our layer of our Jonesy Q Cow Pow. The Cow Pow delivers that real beef flavor that we just really like on our beef. Works very well with the tenderloin. If you saw our first beef tenderloin video, you know it's the same seasoning we use there because it just works. So basically the same process here as we did with our base layer. We just roll a quarter turn, apply another layer, roll another quarter turn, and apply the next layer. After each layer, kind of want to give it a good press just to make sure that that rub's getting a good adherence to the meat and that we're not losing a lot of it on the board. Of course, at that point, we are going to drag it through back what's on the board and just, again, pick up any excess so we're not wasting our rubs. Oh, and again, I forgot to do the ends. So let's bring it back, tap those ends, make sure everything's getting good and seasoned. So again, we're going to let this sit for a few minutes, and then we're going to come back with our bacon. So as everybody knows, one of the best components to a great filet mignon is bacon wrap, right? So we're going to take some of our good Compart Applewood Smoked Bacon, and we're going to bring it in and wrap it around our center cut beef tenderloin. Once we've wrapped that over, we're going to take a toothpick, just peg it down so that the bacon stays tight while we move to the smoker. We're going to continue that through the length of the entire tenderloin. This will also give us an easy measuring stick on where to slice our steaks once they come off the smoker. After each piece, again, with a toothpick just to hold everything steady. Now that we're all wrapped with our bacon, we're going to come back across the top with a layer of our Montreal steak seasoning. Just a good coarse grind, salt, pepper, lemon pepper, little garlic. Just a good coarse rub to go over the top. We're going to hit that all the way around. And as soon as we're done, we'll be ready to get outside and get our Yoder fired up so that we're ready to get this thing on some smoke. And there we have it. She's good to go. All right, now that we've got it all seasoned up, wrapped up, and ready to go, let's get it on the smoker. We've got our Yoder YS640 set up, running at about 275 degrees. We're gonna get this thing on, stick a temperature probe in it, get it on up to about 115 degrees. Once we're there, we're going to pull it off, get our toothpicks out of it, because at that point our bacon should be set. And then we're going to set it down on our grill grates on the bottom level, crank it up to about 500 degrees, and sear it off. Let's get started. Okay, we've got our Yoder cranked up and running at about 275 degrees. We're going to get this thing on. We've got our ThermalWorks dot set off right in the center of that beef tenderloin. We've got our alarm set at 115 degrees. We're just going to wait till it gets there. Then we'll crank the Yoder up and get ready to sear it off. Okay, so you can hear our thermometers going off. That means we've hit 115 degrees internal temperature on our tenderloin. So, what we're going to do, we're going to pull this thing off, let it rest for a few minutes. While it's resting, we're going to uncover the access plate on our Yoder, slide our grill grates back into place, and crank our smoker up to 500 degrees. Now, while the smoker's coming to temp, we're going to shut that back down. And allow our tenderloin to rest for a few minutes. Then when we get it back on, we'll sear it off, get it up to our medium rare of 135, and we'll be ready to eat. Okay, so we've been resting for about 7 or 8 minutes while our Yoder's gotten up to temp. We're ready to sear it off. So let's get going. First, I'm going to unwrap the tenderloin. Open this up. Give a little duck fat on our grates just to help us sear. Ooh. Keep your hands clear. Here we go. Give that about 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll open it back up, turn it a quarter turn, do the same thing. Okay, we're a couple minutes in, so let's open it up and turn it. All right, about 2 more minutes, we'll do the exact same thing. And as you noticed, you're getting a lot of flame there. Make sure you're wearing heat gloves. All right, the Thermopin's got us at 133, which is right where we want to be. So we're going to come off. We're going to loosely cover this thing, let it rest for about 10 minutes, and we'll slice it up and see how it looks. Okay, so we've been off and resting for about 10 minutes now. Let's get it out, see how we did. Well, we lost one of our little pieces of bacon, but it'll be okay. Come through here. Pull our toothpicks. Smells just like a steakhouse steak, that's for sure. All right, so let's get a slice off here, see how she looks. Oh yeah, perfect medium rare. Nice and juicy. Beautiful medium rare filet. Wow, couldn't ask for any better than that. I gotta get me a taste. Get a piece of that bacon. Oh wow. The salt, pepper, garlic that we put on there just pops. Not to mention, just a wonderful, wonderful tenderloin. Man, that beef is so tender. Fantastic flavor with the bacon, just the regular steak juices that you get in there. Man, I tell you, if there's a better way to do filet mignon, I'd like to see it. If you like what we're doing, make sure, leave us a comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get a notification every time we kick out a new video. Thanks for stopping by and spending your evening with us here with Quein with Uncle Woo. We'll see you out there cooking again real soon. Stay safe and God bless.